Stick them in there, see what it. Hey guys, welcome back. So, little project on the transit van here. What I'm going to do is, I pulled the dashboard out, at least some of the trim off the dash, a few weeks ago. And what I want to do is, I want to reproduce a wood grain effect, similar to what I did in Cesspit some time ago. I'll stick a thing somewhere pointing to that video. However, I want to recreate the similar wood grain effect on the components of the transit van. So, this is what I am using. First of all, just the ordinary standard isopropyl alcohol. This is just for cleaning everything down, degreasing, making sure everything is nice and clean. Let's put these in order. Next, we are going to need a, let that gust of wind go by, we are going to need a adhesion promoter. Now this is basically, it's a primer of sorts, but it's kind of got glue in it, adhesive. So what this does is, it just basically produces a bonding layer between the plastic and the primer. That brings us to the primer. Just basic white primer. It can be acrylic, cellulose, whatever you want. Yeah. Then the actual wood varnish itself. Now I've gone with a coloured varnish here, even though it says stain on there. This is technically varnish with colour added. I use this because it makes it easier. I mean, it's that simple. It just makes everything a lot easier. Now you don't have to do this, but I like to add some really dark areas, and the best way I've found with that is to use just basic artist's acrylic. Now again, you don't have to buy the expensive stuff. I just happen to already have this. What you can do is, if you just go along to your local craft store, even Walmart, just pick up a kiddie's child's paint set, acrylic paint set. You'll get the black in there. So this is an artist's mop brush. Again, this one's actually shedding. Anyway, again, you don't have to buy one of these. Just hit your wife or girlfriend's makeup drawer and just grab a makeup brush. Just don't tell her. A couple of other things you're going to need. You are going to need a plastic bag. Now, this is, what you want is, you want the really soft plastic. You don't want like the heavier, thick plastic bags. The other thing you're going to need is, I'm putting that in my pocket because it's windy here and everything's blowing around. Other things you're going to need is some sort of applicator for the varnish. Now this is just a roller. I've used these before, they actually work quite well, but you can use a paintbrush if you want. The other thing is, if you're going to go with the black, it's just some crunched up aluminum foil. So that's basically what we're going to be using. Oh, and just a, that's just a general rag for cleaning things. So that's basically that. What I'm going to do now is, I'm going to put the camera to one side, go grab the plastic components, and we will make a start. So be right back. So first things first is to begin just giving this a good clean. The idea is just to remove any grime or, just years of fingerprints and anything else that may have gotten on it. Now then, we do have a clock in this one which I am going to remove, so let's just grab a screwdriver and I'll be right back. So once these are all dry, the next step is to mask everything off. Now one of the reasons I want to do that is these edges around here, we have air vents sitting in there, we also have switches sitting in here, and we don't want to build material up on these edges which will prevent things from moving. Same with this, obviously the clock went in there, ashtray goes in there. I don't know what I'm going to fill that with. I may actually put a switch bank in there, but anyway, the idea is to just stop paint building up on the edges, so let's get these masked up. Well, there we go. So you may notice I have not taped up inside of these sections here. Messed about for a while, just couldn't get anything in there. So what I'm going to do is paint it, and then I'll take the Dremel and just gently sand out inside there. That one there got sanded, taped, but these two here, I just couldn't get the tape to sit in there. So yeah, that's basically it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab the surface prep and then we'll start painting. Now the first thing we're going to hit it with the clear primer. Now you can actually paint straight over the top of this. You can go straight on with your colour. What I find though is normally it's best to put some sort of colour primer, especially if you're going from say a black to a lighter colour. If you don't go in with some sort of solid grey, white, whatever, you will find it takes up a lot of base coat. So let's just start hitting these with a bit of heat. I'm not getting too close, so don't worry, I'm not going to burn them. It's just a matter of just hitting everywhere. You do not need to use a large amount of this. This covers very well. You just basically want to wet everything down. Okay, so let that side of it dry and I'll hit these other bits. Okay, leave that to dry. And we'll hit it with it shortly. Again, hitting it with the heat just helps it cure a little quicker. Next step is we want a nice even coat of the white. Okay. Begin with just going to do a really light dust coating. Okay, obviously we're not after full coverage at this point. Alright. So what I'm going to do is leave this for a few minutes and then we're going to come back and then we will start building up the layers. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate on these pieces first. Now I don't know if you can notice, I don't know if you can see on there, but it is not perfectly even. You can still see a little bit of darkness coming through. Now I actually am going to leave it like that, and the reason for is that it'll just give a little bit of depth to the actual wood grain effect when I begin to apply it. And you can also see it on there as well. Yeah, that's okay, that I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I'm going to give this larger section another coat just to bring it closer to these, but yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's going at the moment. Okay, that is as far as I'm going to take it. What I will do now is I will leave it for about an hour just to ensure this is all nice and dry before moving on to the next stage. So I will be back soon. Okay, here we are. Everything's nice and dry, so we're going to move on to the next stage. Now, I have got the Artist's acrylic. Again, like I said earlier, you can use just any acrylic paint, child's paint set, etc. So, what I'm going to do is I want to add some really dark areas to the actual finish before I get into doing the actual wood grain effect. So what I'm going to use for this is a little bit of aluminum foil. I've got it tucked under there because the wind keeps blowing it away, and the acrylic. So I'm just going to squirt some out here. That should be enough. Now literally we just take the crumpled up aluminum foil, the more jagged the better. Let me just dip it into the black. Now it's best to dab it around a little bit until you start getting a... So you just want the little tips actually covered. And then it's just decide where you want to go and just literally start hitting it. Now if you want it thicker, of course you can go in. And it's just a matter of just going around where you think you would like to add some. Now, what you can do is with the mop brush, I don't know why this one is losing all its hairs, just go around and you can just dab and it'll soften that out. And then off we go again. Again, just choosing whatever areas you want. The whole point is to try and keep it as random as possible, trying not to get too uniform. I think we'll have a little bit on there, maybe some up there. Another corner, maybe a bit in there. Again, it's just adding as much or as little as you want. You are going to get messy, so you know, something you've got to deal with. And again, just hit with a mop brush. Just try and tie some of these edges together. Like I say, you just want it as random as possible because nature isn't really that organised. Okay, there we have it. Just going to leave this now to dry for about an hour again, and then we will be back again and we will start applying the final finishes. Well, had a bit of a reset while these were drying, so let's move on to the next stage. I've got myself a little brush, mainly because there's some areas here that I'm not going to get into with the roller. So, I mean, let's just basically get to it. It's literally a case of, just one moment, I need something. Well, let's not forget we need our plastic bag. So, it's a case of just grab your brush or whatever you're using and just go at it. Now, we're not looking for a really smooth finish here, we're just basically trying to just get it on. As you can see, I'm just getting it on there, that's all. Now that looks pretty terrible there, and this is where the bag comes in. Take the bag, I want it nice and wrinkly, and we're just going to go around and just dab. And that is precisely the effect we're looking for. So this will be set to one side and I'll move on to the next. What I will do though is I'll give it a quick blast with heat just to warm things up a little. Again, if you're doing this in the summer, the heat would not be necessary. This is simply because I'm in the garage door and it's rather cold. So, let's move on to the next one. For this I may actually go to the foam roller. Not sure if this is showing up on camera, but this one is currently slightly darker than the centre section that I've just done. That I'm not concerned about because as you layer it up, the actual colours will, the consistency of the colour will improve. So, once again, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for 30 minutes, let this cure, and then I will hit it for a second time. Well, welcome back. So, this has sat about 30 minutes. They are now dried to just slightly. If you touch them, the glove kind of just to say sticks. Now again, depending on the product you use, you'll have to follow the instructions for drying time, coating, etc. But for this one, the Ronseal, once it's dried to a tacky finish, then we can go on and hit it again. And it's basically the same thing. Just going to give it a nice coat of the varnish once again. Making sure to get all the edges. I am going for a much darker finish on this one than I did with the Mondeo, so that's one of the things I think. I wish that, yeah. Now, as you can see, there's still a few light areas there. We will come back and we'll address those shortly. Okay, and there we have it once again. Again, going to give it another 30 minutes and then we will come back and, as I say, rinse and repeat. So, see you soon. Well, here we go once again. Another 30 minutes and let's work our way through it again. That's coming together really nicely. Still looks very sort of blotchy in the camera. I've got my cell phone over to one side, and but trust me, it is coming together. So here we go again. As I say, rinse and repeat. Okay, I am going to do one more coat of varnish with the stippling effect, and then the final coat is going to be just an overall unifying layer. So once again, another 30 minutes and I will be back. Oh, here we are back again. I've been giving this some thought. I have actually lifted these out off camera into the brighter daylight, and I don't think I'm going to do another texture layer. I think I'm just going to go hit it with one more coating of varnish just to give a unified colour and then call it a day at that. It is actually much darker than what I did on the Mondeo, and I am really happy with it. I do like the way it's turned out. So yeah, I think let's just give it one more coat of varnish. That'll take the colour down even a little bit further and call it a day. So let's get to it. Okay, and there we go, that's it. Again, I am going to let this dry for at least another 30 minutes. Get rid of that. Storm Franklin, or whatever they call it, is it's actually started to peter out now. It's mid-afternoon, so that's good, but it's still breezy. Anyway, that's basically it. What I'm going to do is I will let this dry completely. I may give it a couple of hours, and then it's just a matter of removing the tape and putting everything back together. The actual little icons on the vents, I will do those later. What I'll probably do is just do them in acrylic with a very, very small artist's brush, just put them back in. But otherwise, that's it. I'm not ending the video quite yet. What I'll do is I will leave this all to dry, and when it's all finished and everything's done on it, I'll stick the camera back on and let you see what it looks like. So yeah, cool. Thanks for watching. We will see you in a few hours. Well, there we go. That's her complete, and yeah, I'm rather happy with that. It's come out quite nice. I haven't filled in the actual little icons on the controls yet. I'm going to leave it a few days to dry before I do that. But yeah, overall it's come out rather nice. I like it. You can see the dashboard clocks there. These are just some designs that I'm playing around with right now. I haven't finalised them yet, but they're a possibility. Obviously, they're also just stuck in there, so they're not completely lined up. But given that I'm a 5-year-old, sometimes I just wanted to stick them in there, see what Well, who said things don't go sometimes? Ah, damn it. Yeah, damaged it there and there. That isn't too bad. Yeah, this is... Yeah, that's pretty much okay. Yeah, this is the one that's damaged. Well, there you go. Yeah. Sometimes things just go to hell very quickly. So, yeah, it's my own fault. I was playing around with it. I knew I should have left it. So you just put it to one side, let everything harden nicely, but it's windy. And, yeah, I had to mess about. So, paid the price. That is how it goes sometimes. Anyway, I'm going to definitely end this video now. I'm going to touch that back up again, put it somewhere safe, not to play around with it, and then yeah, next time you'll see it, it should be going into the van. So yeah, that's life, isn't it? Anyway, so you know the drill. I've said it before. Click that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and yeah, come back and see me sometime. Have a good one.